So we hear a lot about smart cities. It is becoming a real buzzword. It's now starting to overtake sustainability as a buzzword. But more and more cities are promoting themselves as smart cities. The likes of Bristol and the likes of London, Birmingham, Manchester, all of these cities, as we look at to be leading cities, are promoting themselves as smart cities. So Bristol, for example, are saying that they want to be the city of the future, and they want to turn their city into a high-tech test bed for innovation. And they're currently testing really cutting-edge technology such as driverless technology, and you may have seen that on the news. London, good old Boris, has created a Smart London board to put technology at the heart of the capital's future. And they have developed the London Data Store. I don't know if anyone has seen the London Data Store, but that is really all about opening up thousands of data sets from information being held and data being collected across the city. And Brian has already alluded to this. What that does is that provides opportunities for SMEs and businesses to start developing new products and new services based on the data that we've collected about current behaviour within the city. Barcelona is recognised as one of the top 4 smart cities in the world, and the mayor has really led that whole initiative. And he says that the economic future will increasingly depend on the digitisation of its public services and being citizen and customer centric. So he recognised the fact that we have plans for traffic and a budget relating to traffic. We have plans for health and we have a budget connected to that. And we're working in a very siloised way. And again, it's already been mentioned. And the power of collaborating and of pulling together our strengths and working in the same direction can really bring about major benefits for a city. And that has really set Barcelona apart. Now, I think Brian has maybe seen my presentation because there are a lot of similarities here. And our history is well known in terms of innovation and industrial engineering. And not to go over it again, but the likes of Professor Frank Pantridge, who brought really the first mobile cardiac unit to the homes of people. He recognised that 60% of patients were dying outside the hospital in relation to heart conditions. So he decided that he would put that first unit and that first team together. That revolutionised emergency care across the world. And of course that led on to the portable defibrillator, as we've already heard about, literally a life-saving device that we see in buildings all over the world today. And we all know that Lord Kelvin, best known for laying the first transatlantic cable, was born in Belfast. And today the Project Kelvin provides the fast broadband to North America and to Europe. And we all know the Game of Thrones was filmed here, and the fact that we could film on location and send that film over to Los Angeles to be edited very quickly turned that whole filming process around. And that's something that couldn't have happened without the infrastructure that we have. So we're developing our reputation in the field of life sciences, connected health, as we've heard. We're pushing the boundaries and we're creating new products and new services which are literally saving lives and enhancing the quality of life. So Belfast City Council are really at the start of this journey, trying to understand what a smart city is and how we can incorporate that into our planning and into our delivery of services across the city. So there are many definitions, and some of them are quite similar, and some of them are quite different. The British Standards Institute has a definition. It basically states that it's the acknowledgement of the physical systems, the digital systems and the human systems in the built environment. And by thinking of all of those things and thinking of human behaviour and keeping the citizen at the centre of that, then we can build a prosperous and inclusive future for our citizens. One of the things that's starting to emerge from us looking at a lot of different cities in relation to what makes a smart city is the importance of a vision. The vision for a city provides the blueprint that investors can align to, that local businesses and organisations and the various sectors can start working together and working towards. And it should be a vision that is created by the citizens, for the citizens and the various stakeholders of the city. So what is the vision for Belfast? Over the past 8 months, there's been a process called the Belfast Conversation, and that has been carried out by and led by our Chief Executive, Suzanne Wiley. And the Belfast Conversation has been involving speaking with all of the different stakeholders in the city, talking to our citizens, talking to the politicians, talking across the various sectors and stakeholders to come up with what sort of a city do we want to live in 2030? What sort of city do we want to be a part of? And the 4 pillars that we see here on the slide is really the first draft of what is emerging as important for the people of Belfast, both now and in the future. So, in terms of business and economy, we want to attract investment into Belfast, and that is something that we're quite successful at. So we want to continue to do that. But how do we foster growth in our businesses? How do we address the fact that we don't perform very well in terms of new business startups? And how do we make our city easy to do business with? And how can technology play a part in all of that? In terms of living here, we need to provide a good living experience for the citizens of Belfast. We know we have 90 interface sites. We know there is segregation. How do we use technology to address that? How do we improve relations, and how do we address the inequalities and give people equal access to educational opportunities, employment opportunities, and to healthcare? Because we want active and empowered citizens. How do we look at technology? How do we learn from other cities? And how do we deploy technology in such a way to achieve this? We know we have issues in relation to qualifications, young people coming out of school with low attainment levels. How do we attract talent into our city? How do we keep talent in our city? And how do we improve skills and employability? And of course, how do we attract tourists to Belfast and promote and position our city? So these are all of the things that have been summarised down as the key ambitions for the people who live and work in Belfast. And again, our question is, how do we now come down a level and start working with the partners that are already in the city across the various sectors and build on the fantastic work that is already being done in the city, but to align them to the overall goals of the city. We have lots of different challenges in our city, and I'm not going to go through all of these challenges, but I just want to pick up on one and show you a short clip of how technology can start to address particular challenges in the city. Okay, another something else just to mention here in terms of a characteristic of a smart city is a city that collects data and opens up that data for other people to avail of and to promote the development of new goods and new services and new products. This is just an example of some graphs and charts that have been developed by a local company from the information that's already up on the Open Data Portal and the DFP Open Data Portal. I don't know if any of you have seen the Open Data Portal, but it's a portal that will hold all of the government data sets, and it was launched about 6 months ago. And Belfast City Council, along with other sectors and other departments in central government, are putting their open data sets up there. So this is just an example of a data set that was up there, and this company just in the last couple of days decided to chart and graph the information that's sitting there about prescriptions in Northern Ireland. You can see the spread of prescriptions by clinic, how much that costs, what the prescriptions were for, So when you can start to imagine if you can overlay other data sets on that, and you can see, well, where's the unemployment spread, the crime spread, the qualification spread, different data sets, and you can start getting insights as to some of the possible causes of these problems, and then make decisions about some of the solutions to the problems. So data is also very important, and it's sort of a key component of a smart city. One of the other things that had been mentioned earlier is about sensors and collecting information. So I'm able with my smart watch to look at night when I go home, when I have nothing better to do. I can have a look at a graph and the history of my heart rate, what I've eaten today, my blood pressure, when I was standing, when I was sitting, and start to look at why did I not sleep well last night. My sleep pattern is recorded here. So I can start making my own decisions about, well, I didn't sleep too well last night because I had a presentation the next day, or whatever. So we are getting more and more into that arena, and I think Arto has covered it extremely well as Brian. That sensors are going to be very important in terms of collecting more and more data, and that's one of the things at the council that we want to do. We want to be able to support IoT type projects so that we can generate more data, because when we get more data we can start to create more products and services, and we can start to get better insights into the behaviours within the city. So across the city there are so many opportunities for using technology to improve how people live in our city. These are some of the areas that we're going to be looking at as a council to see what's already happening in these areas. We don't want to be reinventing any wheels, and certainly we don't have all of the knowledge, and we recognise, it's great listening to Brian there and all of the things that are happening in the Connected Health Alliance, and it's people like Brian and all of the other organisations that there are, and all of the different developments and innovations that are happening. We want to be able to be part of pulling that together, so that we are all working together and facing the same direction. And there are many other components of a smart city that Belfast does have. We have a really strong commercial digital sector. We are now the UK's leading cyber security organisation in terms of the CSIT set up down at the Northern Ireland Science Park, and we're fast becoming renowned worldwide for our bounds and leaps forward in terms of cyber security. Data analytics, our universities in particular, and there's the Centre for Statistical Research in Queen's. And Queen's, for example, are saying they're working with cities across the world. They're working with Barcelona and other cities, and they want to work with Belfast. We don't have any data here for them to work with, so we need to work more collaboratively with them on projects that's going to generate data that they can use us as a living test bed right on their doorstep. Very quickly, just to mention our enabling infrastructure. We have one of the most connected infrastructure in the UK. We've just rolled out our superfast broadband, and over the last year and a half we've connected over 2,000 businesses to superfast broadband through that particular scheme. We are the envy of Europe with our electrical vehicle infrastructure, which is being rolled out, and there are 40 rapid charging points in Belfast itself. And we have at the Northern Ireland Science Park, we have really advanced infrastructure. That whole area serves as an incubator for SMEs. And because of all of this critical infrastructure, we've been able to attract foreign direct investment. And according to InvestNI, we are leading in terms of the UK foreign direct investment statistics. So just to finally wrap up in terms of what is our role in terms of the City Council. Well, our role first and foremost is to help develop that vision for Belfast, and that is something that we have been doing over this past 8 months, and to ensure that that's inclusive, that all of the stakeholders are involved in that, and of course that it is a citizen-centric vision for the future. And the Council has agreed in February to put a team in place, and I'm leading that team to look at developing a smart city framework. And really this framework will enable collaboration across all of the various sectors and basically help to underpin the Belfast agenda. And again, it's great talking to Bran this morning and understanding the ecosystems that are being set up and that are currently underway, and we will want to look and learn from what Bran has done going forward. And of course this includes academia, working with our universities and our Metropolitan College, working with SMEs and working with the public sector. As part of that, we want to put in place a pipeline of projects to bring in more data, and we want to also work with the universities and have been talking to Queen's about how we will build our capacity to understand and interpret data and how we can make better decisions at the political level and at the officer level in relation to managing our city. We also are aware that there are so many funding streams out there, and we have in the past, I suppose, been a bit scattergun and running after just whatever comes to our door. But it's really important that we align our efforts in relation to funding to what is important in taking forward the Belfast agenda. We have also agreed with our politicians 4 key projects that we're going to deliver over the next year, and we will be working in collaboration with government departments and with businesses and universities to deliver these. And we'll be working with the Future Cities Catapult, which is an organisation set up by Innovaton UK to help councils or cities to start bringing together their various stakeholders and start collaborating better on smart projects. One of the key things that we need to do is we need to build trust with our citizens and with our businesses. If we're going to continue to collect data on an ongoing basis, we need to assure our citizens and businesses that we have the right policies in place in relation to what we do with that data, who we give access to that data, whether or not, if we anonymise data, what we actually do with that, and we have to have very strict rules in place around not piecing data together to, as we know that it's very possible to put together a perception of a person or a business from various different data sets. So there needs to be very strict rules around that, and there are models and policies already in place in cities all over the world, so we want to build on the good practice that's already there. One of the other things we are going to do, and again Brian has mentioned this very well, is we need to look at new ways to procure, and we're looking at pre-commercial models. So rather than going to the market and saying that we want this solution that does X, Y, Z, we are recognising that we don't know the answer. We don't know what the solution could be, but we know what the problem is. So we want to go through and use methods such as SBRI. So we have currently now set money aside to go through this process and put out the 4 problems that we have over the next 4 to 5 months out to our SMEs to come back with innovative solutions and ideas. So we want to be a test bed for research and technology, but we want to be able to put the citizen at the heart of service design to ensure that we do deliver better outcomes for the people that live and work in our city. So how do we be smarter? We know we're smart. We're at the cutting edge of a lot of innovation, but how we can be smarter is by pulling together our strengths and working together and having that overall vision for the city that we can all work towards together.